What is happening? J Game Dude here, and I'm very excited. I'm jumping off of my seat, and I am absolutely hyped and excited, though I don't want to get myself a little bit too high at the moment on the excitement, the happiness, and life in general, because this is still a rumor, and it is still very much like there is nothing to suggest that this may actually be happening. But one of the biggest issues that I've had with the PS5 has been the fact that there hasn't been much in the way of good games that are coming out, or there aren't much in the way of exclusives that are really substantial, that are very good, and things along those lines. Sure, there's some really good exclusives, but they seem to be also releasing on other platforms as well, specifically PC. With that being said, I've been playing on my PS3 for the past year and a bit, actively playing games, sometimes switching to a PS4 game every now and again. So for Sony potentially getting native PS3 backwards compatibility is absolutely massive, and I would be over the moon. This would be one of the greatest decisions Sony could ever make. Unfortunately, it's got a massive stipulation similar to how 360 backwards compatibility came to Xbox One. If you know, you know about that particular situation before, Xbox canned the idea completely. But let's just kind of go down to the details. So effectively, what's happened is that, according to credible insider Special Nick, who alleged on the latest episode of the Xbox Era podcast, that Sony is reportedly planning to make PS3 games natively playable on the PS5. The reputable leaker's sources apparently told him. Sony is working on the PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility for PS5, and that is a massive, massive deal. The word select in this context, actually, did he say select? Hold on. Sony's working on, select PS3 backwards compatibility. The word select is in fact right there. Which, yes, that is what bothers me the most. Exactly what happened with the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility on the Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X. The idea that you could play those titles there. So there's only a handful of titles that support actually went to, and so the fact that only a handful of actual titles from the PS3 could be making it to PS5, who knows what that actually means. And on top of that, backwards compatible titles on the Xbox side did in fact have, stuff like frame rate boosts and things like that, which are all really neat and cool things to get on the Xbox side that I wish we had on the PlayStation side. Is it a must? No, not really. But boy howdy, would I be absolutely over the bloody moon if that were to ever happen. I do not think people realize how excited I would be, because then I would be playing my PS3 games on my PS5 instead. However, because it's only select titles, I'm guaranteeing that none of the games that I'm currently playing or want to play on my PS3 are actually going to be those, because they're most likely going to be first party titles. And it says, in this article, they've suggested things like Infamous, Metal Gear Solid 4, Killzone 2. These are all very good examples of games that have not had PS4 remakes, re-releases, or hell, even PS5 re-releases that could be played on the PS5. Because again, PS4 games can be played on PS5 thanks to backwards compatibility. But again, the Infamous games you cannot play, with the exception of the one PS4 Infamous, or two PS4 Infamous games, being Second Son and the one featuring First Light. Yeah, so Second Son and First Light you can, but the actually good Infamous games you can't, which is Infamous and Infamous 2. Depending on who you talk to, some people may say Infamous Festival of Blood, but I digress. And maybe being able to bring back Little Big Planet 1, 2, or 3. 3 is playable on PS5, because recently they did shut down the online service for that game, so I don't imagine that multiplayer is going to be a big component. In fact, you know what, now that I think about it, the viability of bringing back Little Big Planet is just non-existent in that sense. Hopefully it'll be something more akin to White Knight Chronicles, which was created by Level 5, but it was published by Sony and made with Japan studio, and maybe some ex-dev. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, that is certainly a game I would want to see. White Knight Chronicles, White Knight Chronicles 2. If they bring PSP games over, White Knight Chronicles Origins, again, like these are great games that can be played completely solo. It's just that it would be a far more difficult game. But I did manage to platinum the game solo while the entire game was offline, especially White Knight Chronicles 1. Though it took me like 780 hours to platinum the game. But I digress. It's just interesting to see. There's a lot of really good games that I would want to come through that haven't gotten re-releases, but I feel like none of those games are going to be considered. One such example, like I said, is White Knight Chronicles, which I do not believe is popular enough to even warrant a re-release, let alone being tested for PS3 backwards compatibility. But Metal Gear Solid 4 absolutely has to be a must. Or the Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3. No, actually, they were part of the Legacy Collection, never mind. Yeah, I think Metal Gear Solid 4 would be the one to go for, really, but I don't think Konami is actually going to be doing that, and I think that game is stuck on the PS3 as is. I mean, I have my physical copy of Metal Gear Solid 4, so I could be, I could be playing that instead, but I do want to know what you guys think. What games do you guys want to come over from the PS3 onto the PS5 as part of backwards compatibility? I feel like there isn't going to be more than 10 games originally, but I also don't think that they're going to keep. If they do release some games in capacity regarding this, I don't think they're going to keep it up, because there was a lot of PS2 games on PS4. Well, not a lot, there were a few games, but there weren't enough because they stopped doing that at some point, so there's that element of it as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments below, and also mention the games that you'd like to see. Again, mine, White Knight Chronicles, of course, or White Knight Chronicles 2, could go either way on that. And suggest, what game you would like. Try to keep it to one, and obviously one that hasn't been re-released on PS4 that can be played through backwards compatibility on PS5 or anything, or is available as like PS2 on PS4 games as well, because some PS2 games are available on PS3 as well. But yeah, like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 300 subs by the end of the year, and with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.